So hello and welcome to our second video. This is a video in the series introducing our first title, Liquidity, which is a banking simulation game. So in the first video, we just briefly talked about what the game is about and what to expect from it. In this video, I just want to quickly run through some of the controls and how you place windows and things like that. A lot of this will be self-explanatory, hopefully, and rather intuitive, but it's sort of there are a couple of changes we've made to the real world, which you may notice. So this is what we call an MDI parent form. It's basically designed to simulate a workstation, and then within it there are lots of forms, child forms, which you can move around as you would with any other form on the desktop. You'll notice that if we try to move a window outside of the bounds of the display, we're allowed to do that, but then we get access to a scroll bar. So we sort of can extend our usable area that way. Similarly, if we played the game in windowed mode, you could, for example, have this displayed over multiple monitors if you wanted to. If you were to sort of play the game in this way and have forms all over the place, you just got to be very careful that you don't lose them. As I mentioned in the previous video, a lot of this game is going to be about making sure you can manage all your windows. There's a limited amount of space, and you've got to be on top of them. So one other thing you may have noticed immediately is that we have taken liberties of what you'd expect in a Windows 95 style operating system. We've got this little pin here in every window, and that just means that if we click that, then we're unable to move the window until we unpin it. And the reason there is just that we want to, there'll be certain setups that you might like to have, and you can just set your screen up in a way that you find most attractive. I accidentally just closed that one, but are most useful to you, and you don't want to accidentally end up moving them around. Some of these windows you can't close, so you notice these three you cannot close. They've always got to be displayed. You can, however, overlap windows, so you can sort of hide them and stack them on top of each other. The risk there is that you may sometimes struggle to find them. There's a nice thing you can do in applications. So for those who use Windows, which will be everyone with this game to start with at least, is you could Alt-Tab to switch between windows. There's an analogous function in the game, which is to use Control-Tab. So hold down Control and click Tab. It will just cycle through all the different windows that are open. So that's quite an effective way to, if you've lost a window, to quickly search through and try and find it. It's the same sort of thing if you've got multiple tabs. So you put in Chrome, for example, you can do Control-Tab to cycle between them. Okay, so that's basically the way windows work. You've got your programs window here, which we're not going to talk about now, but that's the same as every other window. Some of them can be resized, some of them cannot. It depends. It depends if there's benefit in doing so and if the functionality makes sense. Perhaps one of the most important forms is this game speed one here. So this is going to be a little bit different to other game speed controls. Sometimes you'll see, or very often you'll see in tycoon and simulation games that you say have 3 or 4 different speeds you can use: slow, medium, and fast, for example, and then you can pause the game. In Liquidity, that's not the case. Firstly, you can't pause the game. You can go down to real time, which is as close as you can get to pause. And the reason there is we want this to be a game where if you don't stay on top of things and you don't manage your bank correctly, things can get very chaotic, and you can have windows popping up too frequently, and so on. So you can never pause the game. There are a couple of exceptions to that. If you load at the pause menu, that will pause it. So I just pressed escape there to bring that up. And there are a couple of situations where you'll have pop-ups. For example, the end of day summary is something where the game pauses, but you can't control any of the main aspects of the bank unless time is running. And then you can move speed forwards with this control. Again, it's hopefully pretty self-explanatory. But the interesting thing here is that time does not speed up linearly. So we went from 1 to 2 to 5, and it's sort of exponential. So it goes up 25 times, 50 times, 100 times. And that's as high as we can go to start with. So we have these other speeds unlocked, you'll see here. If you want to go beyond 100, there's this boost button here, which allows you to go 2 steps. So for example, if you're on 100, you can hold it down to do 1000 speed. Or if you're on 50 speed, you can hold it down to do 250 speed, for example. So what that means is, to start with, the maximum you can just leave the game running at in the background is 100. If you want to go up to 1000, you're going to have to hold down boost. And the reason is, there may be times when you want to speed through time, and a lot of the game is going to be about managing speed. You're not expected to play the game in real time, apart from certain situations. But how you manage speed and how you sort of control the flow of the passage of time in the game is going to be really important. And we don't want to have a situation where players who just start the game crank it up to 1000 and then they miss something important. So that's why we allow you to do it, but you have to hold down the boost button to do so. We'll talk about qualifications in another video, but this is essentially the technology tree to all intents and purposes. And you'll notice here that some of the unlocks are 10,000 times game speed and 100,000 times game speed. So you're not given the ability to go that fast straight away. The reason is we want to get familiar with the game, get some experience before you start going up to those speeds. Because at 100,000 times, that's a day progresses in less than a second. So there won't be many situations where you'd want to do that. So let me just load up the debug form, and which you will not have access to as a player or pre-alpha tester, but just in the interest of showing you, you can, if we unlock these, then now we can go to much higher speeds. So we can go from 1000, we press the boost, it goes up to 10,000, and you see time progresses much more quickly. Or if we go up to 2,500 times and boost, it's 100,000, and you see days are going past very, very quickly now. Okay, so that was basically it for controls. I'll follow up soon with another video.